Hello, so I have not finished out the finishing touches of my bullet journal, and I figured that this would be something I could just do with you and show you what I do and talk about what I did for this bullet journal theme and go from there, because I am really putting off filming this video for no other reason than I just don't know how to talk sometimes. I feel like I've been stumbling over my words in every video clip I've tried to do. So we're just going to push through this and make this super low-key and casual and just walk you through how I do the finishing touches and how I do my tarot and everything. So I have these like label printed stickers, so they're very large sheets, and I print them out on my computer, and I use Canva to just lay everything out like this, and then I use an X-Acto knife and a cutting mat to cut out all of these stickers, because that's just the easiest way for me. And I find that using scissors to cut these makes the scissors really gummy and really sticky, so it's harder to use the scissors on these sticker sheets than it is to just use an X-Acto knife. So that's why I use that. And these top three are going to be the book club picks for the next few months. So I'm going to go to my book club spread layout, whatever that is called. It's back towards the front somewhere, if I can find it. Where did I put it? Right here. And we are going to fill in April, May, and June, just so I have them there already. So in April, we're going to be reading Weyward by Emilia Hart, which is a Macbeth retelling following 3 witches. And it's like a historical fantasy is what I believe it's about. And I'm really excited about it, especially just the cover. So based on the cover alone, I am really wanting to read it. We also selected to read Self-Made Boys by Anna Marie McLemore, and we are going to be reading that one in May. And this is a Great Gatsby retelling, and it seems to be a male-male romance, which is really exciting. And finally, in June, we will be reading Legendborn, and I saved this one for June because June is my birth month, and everyone seems to be the most excited about it. So I want to have the most people reading with me on my birth month. Come on. So this one is like the Legends of Arthur retelling, I think, like possibly the descendants of Arthur and all of them. So in quarter 3, we are basically just reading classic retellings in some way, and these are the ones that were most voted. I think everyone picked Legendborn as their top rated, and then I think Weyward was second choice and Self-Made Boys was third choice. So I'm very, very, very excited to get to all 3 of these. So now we can see our Greek retellings over here, our classic retellings, and then we have a couple other themes for the end of the year. So if you would like to join the book club with us, I have that always linked in my description. But let's go add these stickers to the pages that they belong to. So I always like to include a tarot page if I can manage it. There's been one spread so far that I haven't been able to fit it into, but for my tarot spreads, I like to have a space where I can write down what I interpret the card to mean and what I learn about the card when I look it up online. So I use tarotguide.org, tarotguide.com. I'll double check that when I get on my computer in a second. And I like to leave a space for reflection. So this month I pulled my 3 cards, and I pulled the 7 of Swords, which my initial interpretation is, I guess it's not really an initial interpretation because I pulled this card a couple times this year, but I know that it's like kind of being a little bit deceptive and taking on a little bit too much, as you can see, like carrying way too many swords and not really being very responsible, I think. So that's what my initial interpretation is, and I always double check that after the fact just to make sure that I'm like thinking about these the right way. So I do try and look at the images first and like think about what I initially feel based on it. My second card I pulled was the Ace of Cups, and from this one I can see like water flowing over, so I feel like it's a card that represents like abundance and just like an overflowing of things that are happening in your life, whether it's positive or negative. You just have a lot going on at the moment and your cup is like overflowing, but I always interpret it to be happiness, because when people say like your cup is overflowing, it just means like you are filled to the brim with what you are wanting. So that's how I interpreted this one, that things are going to come to me right now that make me feel like I'm overflowing with happiness. And then my third card I pulled was the Knight of Pentacles, and this one I wasn't really sure of, so I kind of felt like this was somebody looking over, I don't know, a town or something and holding something in their hand and feeling like really proud of themselves. So I was getting like pride and confidence out of this card. So that's what my initial thoughts were for these 3 cards, and I went ahead and printed out the cards right here, and I'm going to place them along here, and then I will go ahead and write down what I learn off of the tarot guide website that I always use. I didn't space those perfectly, but that is okay. Let me go onto that website. Okay, so it's called the tarotguide.com, and it's just one that I feel like really explains everything super well to me. So I'm going to start off with 7 of Swords, and the keywords for this card say deceit, lies, trickery, cheating, theft, underhanded, scheming, dangerous, risky behavior. And it basically says that it's signifying mental manipulation tactics, scheming, enemies who masquerade as friends, and it's representing like a lack of flexibility and adaptability and trying to escape detection and getting away with something. So I'm going to write down what I think those are. There are also some breakdowns for love and relationships, money and career, and health and spirituality on this website. So I go through it and read all of those and kind of take what I feel like is applying to me at the time and write that down as my interpretation. And then when I come back at the end of the month, I go back to the website and reread what it says and reflect on both what I thought I gained from it and what the other meanings might have been, because I might have missed a meaning online or interpreted something that didn't happen, and something else that is on the website made a little bit more sense. So that's how I do that. I am going to pull up these 2 cards and quickly see if I was correct or incorrect on my thoughts and feelings. So Ace of Cups is saying new beginnings, new relationships, new romance, love, happiness, joy, pregnancy, celebrations, and socializing. So it does feel like a lot of joy and happiness, the overflowing of the cup, like I was thinking. And for Knight of Pentacles, it's saying patience, practical, loyal, responsible, persistence, defensive, stubborn, hard worker, prophet, finishing the things you start. So not quite what I was thinking, but also along a similar lines of being confident, because if you're fulfilling your dreams and finishing the things that you started, it's similar in a way. But I am going to go ahead and take a moment and write down those things and come back to you. Alright, so I added those in. As you can see, I drew some lines to kind of separate everything out, and I used the Tombow 098 and I used the Tombow 026 for these two colors right here because I felt like it matched with these dots and the tarot cards. So let's go back to some of the theming that I haven't talked about at all. So in my last video, which I will link a playlist up here for all of my past bullet journal videos, but I asked everyone to tell me what I should do, and I got a couple of responses. One of them was animals, I believe, and the other one said like April showers. So I decided to be a little bit lazy, but I also really like how this turned out. So it was well worth the laziness. But I went onto Pinterest and I typed in like animals in rain and like aesthetic rainy photos, cozy rainy photos, and I put together a couple of collages and I threw them together with Canva, and I printed these out with Canva. I printed the colors out and hand punched all of these circles. So everything is just kind of like a cozy aesthetic rainy day is what I went for. So on the cover, I think this is a goat. I'm not entirely sure, but then there's like a little bird under a mushroom, a ladybug on a mushroom, and then just like cozy little houses and stuff. So on the rest of the pages you will see an animal that's looking at the rain or doing something in the rain, and then you will see like an aesthetic outside photo, and then like the home that I think that that animal would live in. I don't know. I was just trying to be a little bit cutesy with this. So this is my tarot page all done. So let's go ahead and work on my TBR. So usually I like to have the covers for all of the books that I'm going to be reading on the page, but in the past couple of months I just kind of been too lazy to print out double covers. So in March I just wrote down what I am going to be reading, and I'm just realizing that I totally forgot to put a space for a check-in. So I'm gonna throw that over here. Yeah, I can do that. So let me quickly do that as I'm speaking. So this is very just like in the moment, as you can see. So I'm going to write this here, and I'm going to take, what color should I do? Let's go with this one right here. I'm going to just kind of color in a little block. Not super cute, but then I will take this Micron 05, and I'm just gonna, in cursive really quickly, write check in. Whew, not my best handwriting, but that is quite all right. And I always go in with this 990 for these beige colors. So I'll draw those in. Okay. There is that all filled in, and this is just how I can try and keep track of my yearly goals and see if I'm making any progress in them. So I'm going to go put this back in March because it is not the end of March yet, and I still need to use this check-in for that. Just going to pop that right back in. And then yeah. Up here, we are going to include my TBR pictures because I don't like the list. I just think it's not very cute to look at. It wasn't very cute in February. It's just not very cute in March, and I like seeing the covers. So I printed out double covers for the books that I know are on my TBR, and then a couple extra for books that I think I'm going to be reading. So I actually wanted to put the reading prompts that I pulled from my TBR jar on here. So I think I'm going to try and space everything out and somehow hope that it all fits. Okay, that wasn't spaced out as well as I hoped that it would be, but it is all right. It turned out fine. So I pulled the card on script, or the prompt I mean on script, and that will be this book right here, V.E. Schwab. I had two options that I'm thinking about for my mood read, but I also printed out the cover of Catching Fire because I really want to continue with my Hunger Games reread. So this might end up actually being my mood read, but I still wanted to put these two because that's what I included in my video. Then we had Discord pick, which is also my book club pick, so I'll put that cover image over here soon. I have 10 Plus Years Old, which is a man called Ove, Has a Map, which is a Brandon Sanderson book, and Fantasy, which is also a buddy read. So I think I'm going to put a little note next to it here. So that I remember to prioritize that one because it is a buddy read. And then I had to throw in my 12 and 12, which is Picture of Dorian Gray. 12 and 12 is a challenge I'm trying to do where I read 12 classics in the entire year, one per month. And I double checked that the check-in still fits. So that is good to go there. And it's all right. It is a little wobbly with some of my lines, but that is totally fine. And to my book club, all I have to do is add this cover image. And I think I'm going to put that, do I want to put it on top of this? I kind of like how that looks. Why not? I pulled this green color to match this cover. So that's where I got a lot of these colors from, the images and the book covers that I laid out on Canva. So I like how that looks a lot. And for these last pages, I don't have to put anything yet because this will be where I write down the reviews. So I've pre-cut out all of these covers. And I also have covers from other books that I've said I was going to read in TBR videos that are still on my shelves or still half read and stuff. So I have these here. I definitely didn't need to print out another copy of Ove. My bad on that one. But yeah, I will put those stickers on the page when they are necessary. But the last thing I need to do is my wrap-up questions. So for the past few months, since January I believe is when I started, I have included a wrap-up page. So I go back and look through some of these questions that I've asked myself and see if I want to repeat any of them. There are a couple that I always put on there. This was my February wrap-up page. And this is my March wrap-up page so far because I've only completed a couple of things this month and I like to wait until the end of the month to really double check that I have my answers solidified. So I'm going to draw a couple of colorful lines that will separate all of the pages, and I have no rhyme or reason for doing this. So I just kind of pick a color and separate. I don't count how many spaces are there. I just kind of go off of vibes alone. And then based on however many lines and stuff I give myself is how many questions I have to fill in and answer at the end of the month. So I feel like that's a decent amount for that side. Let's go over here. And then I try and kind of do ones that are even with the other side, just for cohesiveness purposes. About right here. About, I don't know, right here. Sounds good to me. And then we'll go a little bit below that one. Alright, so looking back at January, I hope that this isn't very boring for you, but this is the process that I go through every time. A lot of flipping back and forth. I ask myself, what did I watch this month? I do always like having that. And what did I listen to the most? That's another good one. My favorite book. What did I eat or drink? How was writing going? Any fanfics to rave about? I rated the month 1 through 10. Something I wanted to try. Something I want to do better next month. Did I go to therapy? That is always on my list, so I'm going to go ahead and definitely put that right here. I honestly don't think I'll be going to therapy in April, but you never know. And this is just one of those goals that I have for myself for the year, so I constantly ask myself the same question just so it's always on my mind. And every time I look at the wrap-up page, I have to go, oh, why am I not doing this yet? What is still holding me back? And I have to have that conversation with myself. So this is really just a way for me to hold myself accountable for certain things that I want to do. Favorite memory of the month and summarize the month. So I do know that I will be putting what did I watch this month on my list, because my goal this year is to watch more movies and TVs, because I do really like to watch movie and TV shows. I just haven't made a lot of time for that. So I'm going to put that right here. And again, there's no rhyme or reason to where I'm writing them. I just kind of fit where I think that I'll use that kind of space. So if it's a longer answer that I think I might have, I will give myself a bigger space. And movies and TVs I don't watch a lot, so I try and give myself a smaller spot for that. Same with the therapy answer. I know it's going to be probably 1 or 2 sentences at most, so I just leave a little bit of space. Looking at February, again, what did you watch? What's on your radar was one that I asked, because I knew Daisy Jones and Shadow and Bone might be coming up and a couple of other things. So that was a question I definitely wanted to add there. What is your most listened to song? What did you eat and drink? I do like writing those ones. I don't think I'm going to do the eating and drinking one this month though. I like this one. What is something you really want to buy? I'm going to add that one right over here. Let's do it right here. And then I have this one right here. How are you liking work? I am really struggling with being consistent with myself with substituting. So I think I'm going to put a substitute related question on that, because I need to figure out something, or if I'm going to try and apply for other jobs, because this is just not something that I feel like I'm doing my best at. So I'm going to put that right here. So I'm asking, how is subbing going, and are you job hunting? Because that's something I might be doing in the near future. Then I'm going to look at March, best book of the month. I always write that down. And what did you listen to? Any exciting memories? I don't need to write about the Eras Tour because I already went to that. What are some upcoming goals? I do like that question. So I think I'm going to include best book of the month, what did you listen to, and some upcoming goals. And then I have 3 spaces. This one I usually put for like a summarize the month. How did you feel overall? So I think I'm going to ask that one. How did you feel about April overall? And then I have these 2, and I try and do some like lighthearted questions up here. So I think I'm going to ask about fan fiction in this second one. So any good fan fictions lately? And then I also asked, did you write anything? Because I have officially posted my fanfic that I was working on for so long, and it is all complete, and now I get to work on other things if I want to, and I have a few that I would like to prioritize. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in, because there's so many other things I want to try out and do. So I would like to make sure I'm saving time for writing. I just don't know how that's going to go. So one more question, and I think I want to do something pretty simple. So I think I might just ask like, how are you feeling right now? Just as like a nice little way to get myself into the journaling that day whenever I do fill this out. So, because sometimes when I am filling this out, it's kind of like, ugh, I have to get this done so I can get my next video posted so everyone can see. So how are you feeling right now? And I think that's pretty good there. So this is basically how I set up my journal so that I am ready to film my walkthrough. But I don't think I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of this really, so we can pop back to March if you are still watching and would like to just see what I have of March. It is currently the 27th, so that's why some of these things are not filled out, but I can do some verbal reflections with you real quick. This one I pulled the 9 of Pentacles, which is my personal favorite card, and it says that you've gained some wisdom and maturity and have worked hard to set yourself up for success, and you've become stronger and more confident with time. With that initial interpretation, I don't feel like that is matching up with how April went, so I would probably go back onto the website and reread the meaning and other interpretations of this to see if that better reflects the month. This one is saying you're feeling a bit hopeless right now, you're questioning your path in life, and if the universe really has a plan for you. And I feel like this one is definitely more along the lines of what is currently happening with myself right now. I am just really in limbo again on what I want to do with career stuff, and I know that I'll definitely have a bigger reflection for this one. And again, this is where I got that 7 of Swords last month that I also pulled in this month. So I'm really unsure about how this one is applying to me, but it keeps popping up. So if anyone has a better interpretation of what the 7 of Swords could be meaning, I would really love to hear it. And then for my TBR jar, I was just putting little checks next to the books that I finished. I'm working on reading Stone Blind, and then Emma is going to be my next priority. I only have a couple days left in the month, so crossing our fingers that we finish. And since we haven't finished the month yet, I can't answer all of these questions, but let's fill in the ones that I can. I did not do a Reese's book club, I know that. I did join a readathon, I just kind of failed at it. I have done 0 days with self, probably won't by the end of the week. I need to go back and see how many fanfic chapters I posted this month. I think I only posted 2, but I did watch TV and I did watch a movie, and I don't think I met anybody new. Over here, I was going to fill out the readathon prompts with the book cover, but I only read one cover, but I only read one book for the entire readathon, so it happens, you know. Over here is where I will be writing down my thoughts once I finish Stone Blind. I've only made it about an hour into the audiobook, and I don't really have a lot of thoughts. I don't know much about Greek myths and stuff, so it's not fully making sense to me yet, but I'm going to push through a little bit. I'm probably going to play Sims right after I'm done filming this and listen to it, so we will see how I feel. But right here are so far the reflections of the books that I've been reading. I've been trying to use a little bit more space for each reflection so that I'm not wasting as many pages as I have in the past few spreads, but I do still really like having a space to jot down my thoughts on all the books I'm reading. And then again, here's the wrap up. I've only written about the Eras tour. I know that I will not be going to therapy by the end of the month, so that will still be a goal of mine. And I could, I guess, fill in this one soon. But yeah, I'm just going to leave this here because it's not the end of the month, and I really do like spending the last day of the month going through and reflecting on the month as a whole. So this is my April spread and how I set up my journal and get ready to film a walkthrough for you guys, but we are doing it a little bit different in this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. So let me know if you liked this format and like me walking you through my thought process and everything, and if you have any questions on bullet journal things that I do, I would be more than happy to make more videos for you. I have a whole bullet journal that is here to do any ideas that you would like to see. I've already done a couple of things like daily page counts that I showed you how to make, but that is as far as I've gotten. So if you have any bullet journal ideas of things that you would like to see, I would love to hear them. I did get one request to do really simple themes, and this is kind of another inspiration for this because I felt like printing out pictures, cutting out pictures and circles might be super easy for somebody who just doesn't have a lot of artistic abilities or energy to do any art in their actual bullet journal. So this is a really fun, easy way to just have something that looks super cute and aesthetic and really requires no time at all. So if you enjoyed this video, leave me any rain emojis. I would appreciate it very, very much. And I think I'm going to wrap this up here. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video, which should be out very, very shortly. All right. Goodbye.